Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Quick Quips with Steven Seagal. I am your host, Runtime HD, and this time, Steven Seagal is...
Pay with your life. I've been dead for a long time.
A Dangerous Man. Released in 2009, this is just a straight up action movie. I'm just gonna jump right into it. This movie is very badly written, and it's not even like ironically enjoyable like some of the really badly written Steven Seagal movies, because some of them are so stupid and so nonsensical that you can get some enjoyment out of how ridiculously dumb they are. This one is just dumb in a bad way. Like, why is any of this happening? Why are any of the characters doing anything that they're doing? There is no motivation. None of the characters have any desire to do anything they're doing aside from like, oh, I'm the good guy doing the good thing, or I'm the bad guy wanting money and doing the bad thing. That is literally black and white. It is the most black and white action movie I've ever seen, and it's a fucking action movie. Those movies are the definition of black and white, and this movie is just like the richest black and white you've ever seen. It's like fucking, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I get, it's just really, really blanket. There is nothing here. There is no depth. It's like a fucking puddle in a rainstorm. It is neither as wide as an ocean nor as deep as an ocean. It is as... If you get what I mean, the phrase. It is just so uninteresting. Like, Steven Seagal, he is like, of course, an ex-Special Forces guy. And the movie opens with his wife getting mugged by this guy, and then he just teleports out of nowhere and attacks the guy, and then he chases him down the road, like it was really funny the way he chased him. But then, guess what? The guy dies, and Steven Seagal says he didn't kill the guy, but then he goes to prison for killing the guy, and then it's revealed that, oh no, he didn't kill that guy, and another person killed that guy, just because the evidence came, just so happened, Steven Seagal didn't murder this guy, so he got out of prison, and the second, and I mean the fucking second, I think like a couple hours after he got out of prison, he's like, you know what? My wife divorced me while I was in prison. She took the kids. My family doesn't love me anymore. My life is ruined because they thought I murdered a guy and I didn't. So instead of like, you know, getting a new life, you know, maybe moving somewhere else or getting a job, being an upstanding citizen, or being a normal functioning member of society, he decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to murder people for real. You know what? This thing that ruined my life that I got framed for, fuck it. I'm going to do it for real this time. No, makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. And then, like, these two punks, like, try to rob him, right? They try to, like, scam him or, like, rob him. And instead of just, like, I don't know, maybe just, like, kicking their ass and teaching them a lesson, because they're just punks, right? Like, they didn't, I mean, yeah, they had a gun, but just take the gun away and kick their ass. They're not going to come back for you. Probably not. They're just some lowlives. No, he fucking Schindler's List's the one guy. Not even that. He takes the slide off the gun and fucking jams it into his face like a fucking slasher movie villain. And he fucking brutalizes that guy for no reason. I get that he was trying to rob you, dude, but that's a little extreme. You don't need to Michael Myers the poor guy, okay? Like, I felt bad for that guy because he just brutalized him for no goddamn reason. And then his buddy, he just kind of beat up and let him live. Like, oh, you brutally murder the other guy, but his accomplice, oh no, he just gets off with a warning. Right? Sure. And then, like, he just nonchalantly walks in to the gas station that this scene has, like, almost no bearing on the plot, by the way. This scene is just for Steven to look cool. So he buys, like, Jack's whiskey, like the most generic label you could ever have for an alcohol. And he goes in, he literally walks into the back, takes out the VHS tape that they're using for those security cameras, and then walks out, and then steals the car that the guys were trying to get him to buy. And then in the next scene, he stops at a pit stop on the highway. And then these two, like, punk robbers, like, stop on this pit stop because the driver's buddy needs to take a piss. And then just so happens that these fucking Chinese mobsters are pulled over by this cop. And just so happened that Steven is just kind of chilling at this pit stop. Just, like, having a smoke break, I guess. Just, like, chilling. And then a fucking gunfight breaks out between the Chinese mobsters and the cop. And then, I guess, and then they just, obviously since the like, punks, like the thief punks, were witnesses, so they shoot them. And then, from that point on, the movie continues to make even less sense. So Steven, for no reason, drags this random schmuck into this, which he had nothing to do with, by the way. He was just basically a bystander. He just drags him into it, even though, because they had, like, a fucking girl in the trunk or something and money. And then the movie revolves around Steven trying to save this girl's uncle, like, out of the goodness of his heart or something. Like, he didn't just brutally murder a guy, like, 10 minutes ago. And it just so happened that the random fucking schmuck punk that survived was the son of the Russian, like, of a Russian mob boss. Just so happened. Like, just some... I don't know. And then... And then, as the movie goes on, so there's too many villains in this movie, and none of them really have any bearing on anything. They don't have motivations to do what they're doing. Like, there are these corrupt officers, like police guys, who are probably the most pointless characters in the movie, because they don't really do anything except act like idiots and then get shot and killed later in the movie. Like, they don't even get a satisfying death scene. They just get shot. Like, it's really anticlimactic. Like, with them being corrupt cops, usually in a story where, like, the bad guys are, like, corrupt cops, you'd expect, like, oh, maybe, like, the cops are gonna, like, you know, be on Steven Seagal's trail, or maybe some corrupt cops will be, like, you know, evil goons that he'll have to take down. No. Just these two specific cops in general. These two specific guys are apparently the only corrupt police in this department, apparently. And they're incredibly incompetent because, like, they're just blatantly corrupt. Like, I'm not even sure how the department hasn't realized that these guys are corrupt yet, unless the department just doesn't give a fuck, which I guess is kind of realistic. But here's the thing. As I said, they're so fucking stupid. There's literally a scene where they go to the mob boss's, like, his restaurant, I guess. They, like, go to his main home turf, and they threaten him. They threaten a mob boss on his home turf. And then they almost pull a gun out on him. How the fuck did you plan on getting out of that? Let's say you did actually pull your gun out and shoot him. What was gonna happen after that? You were gonna get fucking pepper sprayed by the 20 goons that he has in the fucking building. You were not gonna get out of that. And just because you're cops doesn't mean they're not gonna fucking shoot you. It made no sense. They were fucking idiots, and it's so funny because the villains are so weak and kind of pussies in this movie. Like, the mob boss was, like, going at it with the corrupt cop, and it looked like he was gonna cry. Like, maybe not gonna cry, but, like, he was affected by it. Like, he was, like, really hurt by the mob boss, like, talking shit to him and telling him to get out. And it's like, why are you so hurt by it? He's a criminal. You're a criminal. You talk shit all the time. It was so fucking stupid. And here's the thing. I know I always do lectures whenever I review a Steven Seagal movie because, like, there's literally nothing else to talk about. This movie does not understand basic fucking movie logic. When you have, especially an action movie, to engage an audience, you need something to change. There is no change in this movie. Nobody ever develops as a character in this movie. There is not even a hint, a ghost of an arc in this movie. Because none of them change. None of the characters either get better or worse or evil or more evil or more good. There's nothing in this movie that even resembles a character arc. And that's the thing. In an action movie, character arcs are really key to making you care about what's happening, right? Like, I can't be the only one here. Like, in a fight, the villain also has to have a connection to the main hero. That is basic fucking principles. You can't just have the villain be a random schmuck that the hero just needs to take down and has no connection to it. The main villain, the Colonel, doesn't even interact with Steven at all until the very end of the movie. The very end, and then he just gets his ass kicked because, of course, it's a Steven Seagal movie. He can't even resemble weakness or flaws or anything. He has to be a perfect fucking master of Aikido bullshit, and he just, like, martial arts, definitely, like, these armed warriors. The main villain says that his goons are, like, the top Chinese warriors, like, in all of China. They're the top warriors. And it's like, they're basically just, like, punks. Like the punks at the beginning. I can understand the guys at the beginning getting their asses kicked because they were just some dudes, right? But these guys are said to be Chinese warriors, and they are no different. So if your villain is not a threat, and if there's no threat, there is no, like, suspense, there is no anticipation, there's no anything, right? I'm not scared that any character they were too scared to kill anyone in this movie. Nobody died. Not anybody with a name. I mean, yeah, the villains died, right? But the main heroes, I thought maybe, the son of the mob boss was gonna die, or maybe the damsel in distress was gonna die, but no. None of them. And it's like, it didn't take any risks. This is the most safe, cookie-cutter action movie you could ever make without even try. They didn't even try. I know this movie was just made to feed Steven's ego, and it was also really weird because at one point in the movie, there's a lot of weird lines in this movie. There's two that I specifically remember. So, Steven, like, the Russian mob boss son guy was like, he was like, kind of like, getting mad at Steven for, I guess, dragging him into something that he had nothing to do with, mind you. He had nothing to do with this. Steven had nothing to do with this. Shouldn't have been the problem, but it was, apparently. And he's like, just drive, white boy. Steven, do you have a mirror? You're fucking white, dude. Like, they literally say in the movie, he might be Indian. Okay, that could mean two things. Do you mean, like, Native American or Indian? Actually Indian. What galaxy does Steven look like any of those two things? He talks about how he's like a Russian Mongol all the time. There was one time I remember I watched a Steven Seagal movie where he was Native American for some reason, which is just weird, right? That's just weird. I mean, maybe he has Native American lineage, but I don't know. He probably doesn't. Like, I don't know. Apparently, this is just, he likes to call himself Native American sometimes. I thought he liked being called Russian, but I guess he likes also being called Native American. I don't know. That was super weird. And then there was a scene with, like, this main, like, not a main bad guy. This guy was, like, a huge pushover. He was a complete joke. And he was said to be, I thought he was going to be, like, the main bad guy of the movie. He was, like, a suited up, like, slimy criminal, right? He was, like, a drug runner, basically. And he was, like, at the beginning of the movie, he was kind of built up as a pretty bad guy. But at the end of the movie, he gets punked out the entire fucking time. And I'm kind of rooting against him. He was kind of the character I wanted to die the most because of one very, very, very strange line that he had. And I think he said, correct me if I'm wrong, if you've even seen this movie, I think he had a line where he said that, like, so he invited, like, a bunch of, like, girls over to, like, dance and do stuff. And he said that, I believe he said one of them had an ass like a 9-year-old boy. Now, I have no idea why that was written in the script. I have no idea how that was approved for the movie. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm very certain that is what he said. And I'm like, now I want him to die, because that is the weirdest shit to say. And then, like, later in the movie, they're trying to get you to, like, root for him to kill the Colonel, like, the real main bad guy. And, like, why is the movie trying to get me to root for this guy? He kidnapped the uncle. He's a bad guy. Why do I want to root for this guy? I want him to die the most out of any of the other characters. And of course, just like that, he gets punked out, shot in the leg, and then killed. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Fuck that guy. And it's so funny because he's also a bit of a pussy, because, like, he's said to be this hard bad guy, but then these random girls that he invited over get killed, and he's, like, crying, basically. And it's like, you were literally treating them like objects earlier. Oh, but now when they're getting shot by the bad guy, you're, like, crying like you knew them. Like, you're not cut out for this business, dude. Like, I'm glad you died, because you would have died later anyway. And it's just so funny, because that was the only thing I cared about, because I just wanted to see that guy die, and then I was satisfied. Because he was the worst character in the movie, because he was just insufferable. But beyond that, I mean, one thing I'll give it is that it was short. And the movie moved at like 1,000,000 fucking miles per hour, which meant that it didn't, like, take its time with anything. Like, it progressed way too quick, but that's, like, I didn't care about the story or the character, so I didn't care. I'm like, oh, okay, so the movie's just gonna feel like it's gonna end quicker for me, because they literally just fucking move way too quick, and I appreciate that, because I did not want to watch this movie for any longer than what it was. And to be honest, I've definitely seen worse Steven Seagal movies, but it still falls under the same pitfalls. He wears leather jackets all the time. He's ex-Special Forces, which, yeah, being ex-Special Forces makes you fucking know karate and shit. Sure, definitely. Every ex-Special Forces guy knows karate. Ask them, I know them. They know karate. There's an unnecessary nude lady scene, of course, in every fucking Steven Seagal movie. He needs to have an unnecessary sex scene. And this, it's like a romance scene. And this is even more unnecessary, because the whole wife leaving him subplot is so unimportant to the film, it might as well have been removed and nothing would have fucking changed. Like, nothing would have changed. I mean, I get that, like, the guy was mugging his wife at the beginning and he chased him, but supposedly he didn't even fucking kill that guy. So even if he was just mugging Steven, nothing would have changed, right? And so there was, like, this scene where she took her shirt off and it was just titties. Of course, titties, gotta have titties in a Steven Seagal movie, gotta keep the attention. And then, obviously, I guarantee you the only reason his wife was in this movie was so that he could record himself in that romance scene with a nude woman. Maybe that's just a conspiracy theory, but I have a feeling that's the only reason that she was in the movie, because she was never even really mentioned again. And as I said, it was just uninteresting and very poorly written. And if I was going to mention every badly written thing, I'd be here all day, right? And obviously, I would not recommend this movie under any circumstances. If you're a Steven Seagal fan, why? I don't understand you. I mean, he had decent, like, fun movies in the 80s and 90s, but our time has passed. Okay, their time has passed. It's a new era. It's a new age now. I'm just saying, you gotta let it go. You just let it go at this point. And but if you want to watch a Steven Seagal movie, which I don't know why you would, but if you do, just watch his old ones. So yeah, I did not like this movie, as you can tell, because I don't fucking like most of his movies anyway. So how about this? Let's get to the ratings. What about a real movie? This movie, I think, on almost all levels, was a terrible movie. But I definitely feel like I've seen worse, and I can say that it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. Certainly not good. Awful movie. 3 out of 10. So, how about Steven Seagal rating? Definitely seen worse. Definitely seen better. 5 out of 10, Steven Seagal. Ironic. There was, like, almost no ironic enjoyment in this movie. I mean, maybe you could get a laugh at a bad line delivery here or there. Maybe like a character's being really stupid, but other than that, it's just really boring most of the time. Like the action is so stilted and very badly shot and very badly choreographed, and I mean, you can laugh at whenever he like jabs somebody or like lightly kicks them, they like fly back into a shelf or something. That's kind of funny. Like every time, by the way, that happens every time he kicks someone like lightly. It's very funny. But that's like one of the only funny things in the movie. So I think like ironic would be like a 4. So let's do a speed run. So real movie rating 3, Steven Seagal a 5, and ironic is like, I guess, well, what was a 4? Yeah. And yeah, I think I've said what I need to say. I think I'm in peace. Hope you guys like this video. Share with friends, subscribe, turn those notifications on. Comment down below on how much you liked it. And I've been Rotamichi, and this has been Quips. With Steven Seagal. You know, I do not like watching these movies, and I think that genuinely, Steven Seagal is probably one of the worst action stars I've ever seen. He's probably one of the least intimidating action stars I've ever seen. He's like, he thinks he's so tough, and he loves to feed his, because of course action stars love feeding their ego. Like, that's just very common. Action stars love that. That's why they're in action movies, so they can have a power trip, right? But at least in most action movies, at least the hero can get beaten up a little bit, right? A little bit, unless you're Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Basically the same thing. I just think that Steven genuinely thinks he's like the coolest motherfucker on the planet. Like, I genuinely think he thinks he's like the toughest guy ever. And I think that's just funny. I just think I hate Steven so much with a passion. And that, like, it's so distracting because I've been doing this series for like years now. And I have to look at his stupid fucking face every time. Every time. I mean, but the thing is, he's the only part that I can get some self-enjoyment out of because I can make fun of him the entire time. Because that's the only enjoyment I get out of this shit. Is because I get to make fun of this dick face.